Hi, survivors. It's me, Purpose, and reporting to you. Hope you guys are doing well because what's going on in this world is not. I wanted to talk to you guys about the protests that's occurring in China. I hate saying that word. I forget on this platform. I have to be so careful and precautious before I say certain things, and I hate that. But it says that the CHINA's lockdown protests spread to campuses and cities abroad. They are protesting against the pandemic restrictions and all that stuff, all the rules and all that stuff that came out against the citizens there. And a lot of stuff that applied over here as well in regards to this, what they were requiring for them to do and what they could not do. Anyway, so it goes on to say that police officers drive away during a protest against the illness during the pandemic in Shanghai, China, November 27, 2022. And this screen grab obtained from a social media video. And it says Hong Kong, November 28, protest against that country, CHINA, strict zero illness policy. Y'all know when I say illness, it's the name of the illness from 2020. It ends with 19. Policy and restrictions on freedoms have spread to at least a dozen cities around the world in a show of solidarity with rare displays of defiance in China over the weekend. Expatriate descendants and students staged small-scale vigils and protests in cities in Europe, Asia, and North America, including London, Paris, Tokyo, and Sydney, according to a Reuters tally. In most cases, dozens of people attended the protest, though a few drew more than 100, the tally showed. The gatherings are a rare instance of those people uniting in anger at home and abroad. The protests on the mainland were triggered by a fire in the country's Xinjiang region last week that killed 10 people who were trapped in their apartments. Protesters said lockdown measures were partly to blame, though officials denied that. On Monday evening, dozens of protesters gathered in Hong Kong's central business district, the scene of sometimes violent anti-government demonstrations in 2019. I think this is the normal right of people expressing their opinion. I think they should not suppress this kind of right, said Lam, a 50-year-old Hong Kong citizen. Dozens of students also gathered at the campus of the Chinese University of Hong Kong to mourn those who died in Xinjiang, according to video footage online. Since the president over there assumed power a decade ago, authorities have clamped down hard on dissent, tightening controls on civil society, the media, and the internet. But the strict policy aimed at stamping out the illness with lockdowns and quarantines has become a lightning rod for frustration. It is frustrating. The policy has kept China's death toll much lower than many other countries, but it has come at a cost of long spells of confinement at home for many millions and damage to the world's second biggest economy. Nevertheless, those officials say it must be maintained to save lives, especially among the elderly, given their low jab rates, as if they really have. Some overseas protesters said it was their turn to take on some of the burden their friends and family had been enduring. It's what I should do. When I saw so many citizens and students take to the streets, my feeling is they have shouldered so much more than we have, said graduate student. One of the organizers of a demonstration in Paris on Sunday that drew about 200 people, we're now showing support for them from abroad. A foreign minister from that country spokesperson told a regular briefing on Monday that country was not aware of any protests abroad calling for an end to the zero pandemic policies. Asked about the protests at home, the spokesperson said the question did not reflect what actually happened, and said that country believed the right against those illness restrictions would be successful with the leadership of the party and the cooperation of the people. It has been common in recent years for those students to rally in support of their government against its critics, but anti-government protests have been rare. Outside outside the POMPIDOU Center in Paris, some protesters brought flowers and lit candles for those killed in the XINGIANG fire. Some blame the president, XI, and the Communist Party and demanded their removal from office. Defiance towards that president has become increasingly public after a descendant hung a banner on a bridge last month ahead of a Communist Party Congress criticizing that president for clinging to power and the zero pandemic policies. About 90 people gathered at one of Tokyo's busiest train stations on Sunday, among them a university student from Beijing who said any protest in China against the pandemic rules would inevitably focus blame on the Communist Party. At the core of it is China's system, said the student, who asked to be identified as just Emmanuel. But some protesters were uncomfortable with more belligerent slogans. An organizer of a protest planned for later on Monday at Columbia University in New York, who asked to be identified as Sean, said she would steer clear of sensitive issues such as Taiwan's status and China's mass internment of ethnic Uyghurs in Xinjiang. We have spoken to some activists from Taiwan, and we've agreed to refrain from that, said Sean from the Chinese city of Fuzhou. So basically, those people are not playing over there, y'all. If you're seeing this on the news, this is really happening in that part of the country. People are getting tired. And honestly, I see that happening worldwide soon, allegedly. But I really do, because it seemed like since the beginning of that in 2020, actually in the end of 2019, because that's when it was going on over there. I think they detected it in like September, October, maybe late October, November, if I'm not mistaken, in that country in 2019. And then they officially made America aware, this country here, our leaders, so-called leaders, brought it to our attention in March. But this is something that had been going on since 2019. And the steps that the leaders over there in that area took to quarantine those people and lock those people up in their houses and all that, and a lot of people couldn't flee. It was just a lot. I don't even like speaking about it, because a lot of those people from over there, they fled to over here, and it just spread rapidly. So, like, it's just a worldwide situation. But I can understand the frustration, with the citizens, just like how we are frustrated here with all this ugliness and the insanity ever since the illness and the pandemic occurred. People are still dealing with it. They were talking about the other day how small businesses has just completely been eradicated behind all this ugliness. So yeah, there you have it, y'all. And I see a rise worldwide with people getting tired of everything that's going on, and people going to start taking to the streets and demanding some changes. So yeah, it is what it is. Please give this video a thumbs up. Please follow me on my other platforms. Go to purplezen.com, sign up for the free weekly newsletter. And also, if you're looking for land in bug out areas here in Texas, I have some for sale and for lease. And as always, watch this world, watch the weather, smell your water, boil your water before you use it, and keep surviving.